Hi and greetings to everyone. We are from Group 5 and we're going to present about Clarissa or the History of a Young Lady by Richardson. I'm going to present about the synopsis for today. So the synopsis is about Clarissa Harlow, who is a young lady and was expected to marry into a wealthy family by her parents. However, her parents' choices of suitors doesn't really match with her typical man because Solms, who is actually the suitors, is rich, however ugly. But one day, Lovelace, who is a dashing and fashionable but lacks in moral characters, came into the frame, and he imposed as a good man to rescue Clarissa. But, however, when he managed to do so, he raped Clarissa, and this turns Clarissa temporarily insane. And actually he do this because he wants to take revenge, because he thinks he is being insulted by Clarissa's parents. And yeah, he feels guilty but doesn't manage to apologize for his behavior. So I'm going to pass the next slide to my friends.
So, based on our understanding on this story, we have found two themes, which are the immoral wreck versus the innocent heroine and the individual versus society. The immoral wreck versus the innocent heroine, when both Clarissa and her sister Arabella have the same interest in a guy named Lovelace. This kind of fact made Arabella jealous when she knew that Lovelace was attracted to Clarissa instead of her. As a result, Clarissa has to face very difficulties that eventually changes her life to 360 degrees. So for the second theme, which is the individual versus society, so this story took place in the mid-18th century, where society prohibits women from wielding any power whatsoever, and this has caused struggle to Clarissa when the Harlows intend to use their daughter to heighten their rank in the bourgeois community. All Clarissa's parents wanted was status without even thinking their daughter's happiness. And this means even commanding Clarissa to marry a horrible rich man.
Today, I will be talking about the four characters that are found in the novel. The first character is Clarissa Harlow, the protagonist. Clarissa is noted for her expectational beauty, virtue, and accomplishments. She is considered a role model of female behavior that has a very strict idea of duty and morality. She inherited her grandfather's estate after his death that caused her siblings to be extremely jealous. The second character is the antagonist Robert Lovelace, that is a dashing rake, or using the modern term, a playboy. Lovelace comes from a good family, handsome, brave, intelligent, and highly accomplished. He has a love for writing and is quite skillful in it. He has a history of seducing women, all who end up either died in childbirth or became a call girl. He is in love with Clarissa, but also sees her as a challenge for his power of seduction. His admiration of her virtue is an additional instigation for him to try to conquer it. The third character is Clarissa's best friend, Anna Howe, that is her confidant and sometimes her foil. Anna is vivacious and flippant in contrast to Clarissa's seriousness. She treats everyone, including her mother and suitor, Hickman, with freedom that sometimes comes off offensive or cruel. She sometimes teases Clarissa especially about the concealed feelings for Lovelace, but still respects and loves her completely. The fourth character is Lovelace's best friend, John Belfort, that is also a rake. Lovelace and Belfort has a special language that only they know, and often write to each other about their libertine activities. Despite his lifestyle, Belfort has a conscience, and his exposure to Clarissa gradually puts him on her side against Lovelace, although he still continues his friendship with Lovelace.
As for the next part, I'll be talking about the setting of this story. So the setting of this story that I'll be touching is the time and also the place. So basically means the time is when does certain scene happen, and also the place is where does the certain scene take place in this story. So we have the time setting actually in the beginning of the letter that Clarissa write for Mrs. Howitt. For example, Thursday evening, June the 8th. This is actually the day and also the date where Clarissa write the letter for Mrs. Howitt. And as for the place setting, there is actually a few, but I'll be mentioning two of it. For instance, the English colonies. English colonies is actually the place where Clarissa wanted to go to escape her family and also Lovelace. And another place setting that is included in the story is Hampstead. It is the place where she hid in Mrs. Moore's house. So this place setting can be proven from the letter that Clarissa write.
Hello everyone, in this video I will talking about the plot of the story. Clarissa Hollow is an 18-year-old woman who is loved and admired by everyone around her. Even all the members of her family would go to her for advice because of her wisdom. But suddenly, everyone have turned their back on her. Everyone in the family have treated her horribly and have turned her life to misery. The Harlows are a wealthy family but has a little standing in the society. The other family members are avaricious and eager to improve their standing in the society, and Clarissa became the victim of their greed. Clarissa's parents wanted her to marry Richardson, who is an old, ugly, but filthy rich man, but she refused. Richard Lovelace, who is supposed to marry her sister Arabella, has shifted his interest to Clarissa. Meanwhile, Clarissa's brother James also disliked Lovelace because of their history in a duel back in the university which sparked aggression to Clarissa. This is when the conflict started to rise. Clarissa wrote a letter to Anna, her best friend, and she also wrote a letter to Lovelace telling them she was forced to marry an old man by her family. After knowing this, Lovelace began to plot an evil plan towards Clarissa. He convinced Clarissa to run away with him. He is actually in love with her, but he hated the idea of marriage, so he manipulated her by forcing her into cohabitation with him. Clarissa is innocent and virtuous, and she does not see through Lovelace's trick. After she successfully escaped from her home, never did she know her life would become much worse. After 1,000 times of begging Clarissa to marry him, he eventually using the last resort to drug and then rape her. After the incident, she suffered a loss of sanity for several days due to extreme distress. After she recovers her senses, she has tried multiple times of escaping from Lovelace, but she always gets caught. The following action of the story is when Lovelace, intending to escalate the confrontation the second time to physical violence, but she threatens to kill herself with a penknife should he proceed. Seeing her willingness to die, Lovelace retreated. As the day passed by, she became dangerously ill. Later, she wrote a will appointing Belfort as the executor before her last breath. After she died, her family finally realized they had been wrong to her, but it was too late. Clarissa's parents died shortly after her death, and Lovelace dies from injury he received from the duel with Clarissa's cousins.